I guess what brings us here is that we're about to have another baby. I think that at this point in the pregnancy, I feel a little bit more normal than I did at the very beginning. The beginning was pretty rough for me. I was sick. I was tired. Felt like the old people. I'm sick and tired. And it was taking a toll on me. I was just trying to keep it moving.
Yeah.
But now I'm better. I'm not as nauseous. Haven't thrown up in a while. Life is good. As good as it can be being pregnant.
Were you excited when you found out you were pregnant?
Was I excited when I found out I was pregnant? That's a loaded question. Always happy to bring new life into the world, but being pregnant itself, no, I was not excited about it. I had such a rough pregnancy with Lily that I just could not imagine being pregnant again and being pregnant, taking care of a toddler.
How you think I felt when you said it?
I don't think you believed me when I first told you. Because when I showed you the pregnancy test, you literally looked at me and said, take it again. Like the results were going to change, which is funny because about a week before I took that pregnancy test, I took another pregnancy test that I guess was bad because after I did what you do to a pregnancy test, there were no lines on the test. And I've never seen a pregnancy test with no lines. Like, even one line in the wrong spot means invalid. This was just like, do I do it? It was just weird. So then, oh my gosh, we went to the store and I bought like 3. And I was like, I'm not pregnant. I can't be pregnant. And then I took the pregnancy test and I just brought it down here and sat it on your desk and was like, well, I'm pregnant.
Were you excited to tell your mom? And like I was super excited to tell them that we were pregnant, but I didn't know how they were going to react. Were you excited to tell your mom and dad?
I think that I won't say I was excited to tell them. I feel like it was a relief to tell people because I had become a recluse in the house. And, we video chat with my mom every day. So Lily can see her grandma every day. And some days I wouldn't even come downstairs when y'all got ready to video chat. I would just be like, I'm going to bed. So it was just like, okay, now you understand why I'm not around. Instead of just thinking, Artieka just upstairs doing nothing. Like, nah, I'm not doing anything, but I'm also I'm growing a human and it's hurting.
How would you say this one is different from Lily's pregnancy?
This time around being pregnant, one, I had HG when I was pregnant with Lily. A lot of people think they've had morning sickness, and then there's HG.
What is HG?
So HG is, I'm probably going to say the second word wrong, but it's hyperemesis gravidarum, and it is essentially like extreme sickness. Sometimes so extreme that people end up in hospital, or women end up in hospitals. On top of ending up in the hospital, they might have to have like a PICC line inserted or some type of constant flow of medication to keep them from being nauseous. My midwife with Lily didn't take those. We didn't go as far as like home health and emergency room visits, but we definitely had to get me a medication regimen down. And it took a lot out of me. Like, I was always sick with Lily. I think up until the middle of the pregnancy, like probably like 16, 17 to 20 weeks, somewhere around there, I was throwing up every day, 4, 5, 6 times a day. And I was working at that point a full-time job, but I worked it split. So I would go in the morning for 4 hours, and then I would have a 4-hour break, and then I would go back in the evening for 4 hours. And I was on customer incoming calls. And I would literally sometimes like pause my phone, like literally hang up from a customer, pause my phone to go in the bathroom and throw up. Come back out and get right back on the phones. And that would happen more than once during the shift. When I got off work, I would immediately lay down. And when I woke back up, it was pretty much because you were coming home and I had like 30 minutes before I had to go back to work. So it was literally like all day, constant throwing up. Also, like, not just the constant throwing up. Like, I lost in my first trimester, which is like 13 weeks with Lily, I lost almost 20 pounds. And so it was just, I only gained 18 pounds the whole pregnancy with Lily. Like, it was a rough pregnancy. So it was just like, that was part of my, am I ready to do this again? When I found out I was pregnant this time. Because I was like, you're not supposed to be losing weight getting pregnant. Like, people be like, I'm eating for 2. And I'm like, I'm eating for half. This pregnancy, while I was nauseous my entire first trimester, even some of this trimester, I did not throw up as much. Like, I can count on both hands the number of times I threw up the entire pregnancy, whereas with Lily, I could say I threw up 10 times in 1 week. So that was the biggest difference, was being sick, being nauseous, but not throwing up. That was like the biggest difference.
Like, when you found out you were pregnant, or we were pregnant, what was your thoughts when it came to Lily?
My thoughts with Lily when I found out we were going to have another baby was really more so geared towards the thoughts of getting to the ending of this pregnancy and making sure that she's not like a zombie by the ending of it, because we're relying so heavily on electronics, because it used to be that we tried to do more interactive play and learning things. And like, I sit back now, sometimes I'm amazed at how smart Lily is. Like, because I'm like, did I teach you that? Or did you learn it? Like, where did you learn this from? Because she like picks up on things very well. Like, she knows shapes, she knows colors, she knows letters, she knows numbers. She cannot sing the alphabet, and Lord knows, I don't want to get her started on any songs because she butchers them. But she know, like, she recognizes her letters, she recognizes her numbers, her colors. She's doing better with shapes. Like, she's got a lot of shapes down, but she's still getting better with shapes and stuff like that. So it was more so like, I know that I'm sick, but when I do have a little bit of energy, making sure that I try to give it to her, which kind of tells you that like everything else around me is in like disarray, but giving her the little bit that I have. So making sure that she's okay.
What would be something helpful for others who may be going through pregnancy for the first time, or just needing somebody to support them, and with some type of word to let them know that they're not alone?
I would definitely say that you have to find your tribe. And sometimes the tribe that you find is not the people that you actually know. I don't lean on this group as much with this second pregnancy as I did with my first pregnancy because I'm not having the same side effects. But I found a support group for women that had HG, and it was just a space that, like, everybody's miserable pregnant. So you're not alone in being miserable pregnant because it's funny because I actually text my best friend and my cousin a lot when I see like people on TikTok or like doing Instagram reels and they're happily pregnant. And I'm like, I hate them. Like, nobody's pregnancy that I know has been this fun. Everybody's been like, oh my God, get this baby out of me. And then you have all these people that are like, oh my God, I love being pregnant. I'm like, shut up. So you just have to find the people that are like you. Like, I hate to say it is like misery likes company, but when you find people that are in the same place as you, you're kind of like, okay, you understand me. So it's not that I'm miserable and I want your company. It's like neither one of us are having a fun time with this. Thank you for your company. Like, I'm here for you just like you're here for me. I haven't told my mom group from when I was pregnant with Lily yet, but they were all due date buddies with me. And like, that was also a really good group to be in because even though the majority of us were new moms, there were a lot of first time moms in the group. So like, we're all like, I'm going to get my glucose test this week. I'm doing my anatomy scan this week. And like, we were all like domino affecting it together. So it was like, you could literally have someone like first one in the group to go get this anatomy scan done can come back and be like, hey, this is how it's going to go. First one to have to drink the glucose drink is like, look, it's not that bad. Ask for this flavor. So, and then even in that group, there were a few of us that had HG too. So it was like you build your tribe within that tribe. So it was just like, all right, this is what it is. You do it. One of the other things, though, that I've also come to realize in pregnancy, which I don't have to talk about it as much with this pregnancy, but whatever your wishes are, like, don't tell the negative people in your life. I remember with Lily, I was like, I'm going to breastfeed and I am going to have a natural birth. And people were like, nope, epidural me. And I was like, on this side of it, Lily delivered herself. Let's just start there. Like, she came so fast. Like, we got from the time we arrived to the hospital to me getting her for skin to skin was like, what, 15 minutes at max? Yeah. It was more so like 12 minutes.
It's so fast they couldn't find the time.
Yeah.
Make up the time.
Yeah, it was so fast. Like, they just turned around and looked at the timer and were like, okay. So it was just like having that experience. I would have never been able to have an epidural. But if I had gotten people to get in my mind that I had to have an epidural, I would have been thinking I can't do this without one. And I was like all over YouTube, like, I'm having a natural birth. Who had one? I remember there was this YouTuber that I watched. Her son is like 2 years older than Lily, I think. Maybe a year and a half. But she filmed her entire natural birth and just literally blurred out the parts that you can't see, like that you're not supposed to be able to see on the internet without it being like low-key porn. Yeah. And she like was like, this is what I went through. And it was like, to see her do it was like, okay, I don't know the pain she was in, but when she got done having her baby, she was like at the house kicking it. And I'm like, she can do that? I can do that. I got my mind set on it. And thankfully I did, because I did all the preparations mentally to make sure that I could stay at home as long as I needed to. Although, funny enough, we didn't have to stay home that long from the first time I had a contraction. I think that I'm most excited second to not being pregnant anymore, because that's the major excitement for me. On this baby's birthday, it's like happy Artieka's not pregnant anymore day. But I'm excited to see Lily with the baby, because we've told Lily that there's a baby. We ask her all the time, does she want a brother or does she want a sister? And she just always yells a baby. So I don't think she cares one way or another, which is funny because the cousins that she sees the most are mostly boys, but she does have a girl cousin that she kind of sees enough. And so I think she'll be nurturing either way, but like it's going to be funny to watch her no longer be the little, because she's the little of everybody right now. And then she's going to like no longer be the little.
I don't really know how we're going to end this, but when's the due date?
I am due in July. Due 2 days before my mother's birthday. I personally don't think I'm going to make it that long. While I would have loved for this to be another August baby, I hope that I don't carry over that long into being an August baby. This baby is already measuring a little bit ahead. So, granted, Lily didn't ever measure her head. She was always very consistent. She measured exactly what she was every time we went to the doctor. Lily was about 2 weeks early. So, I'm hoping that this one, it doesn't have to be 2 weeks early. Just don't take me to 40 weeks. That's a long time of being pregnant, especially when you find out you're pregnant very early, like we did both times.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got, man. So